incline. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been a part of many races, the many battles here, but tonight at Watkins Glen International, this one means just a little bit more than just any other race. This is more than just a race. Tonight, these drivers are out to prove and show to the world what they are capable of, while also trying to show a little bit of some somberity and remembrance to some friends and families we've lost due to unfortunate circumstances with drunk drivers. Tonight, presented by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, we present to you Fast Fun Champion Power Equipment Cup Series live at Watkins Glen International. Hi again, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Shriver. Joining me here tonight, my good friend and colleague Sparky and Dustin Slonaker. Of course, Dustin tonight on the track of Watkins Glen, and this one being a very Soberton kind of race. Obviously, this is going to be a very really hard racing kind of moment is for 30 drivers on the track, but also, you know, there's a lot on their minds and a lot going at stake for some of these guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely different thought patterns out there for these guys tonight going out there. Normally, they do their normal thing every week. They get on here and race out here, trying to see who's going to win the race every week. I kind of think tonight it's kind of more of kind of like a setback tone here tonight. These guys really racing for the cause here tonight. Got to be on their minds, but yet they still got a race. There's still going to be a race to be run here tonight, and to see how everybody can handle this track here tonight. But definitely, our thoughts and prayers for those families affected there.
Absolutely, indeed. Obviously, I know a lot of guys out here going to be very patient, very well of everything here. We will talk with one of them here in the laps, as well as lap 5. We'll have a special guest for the first time ever on PTM Racing TV joining us in to talk just about the whole situation with the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. But nevertheless, our field tonight racks up in a solid lineup here. You got the Zanny fan Craig James, obviously kind of hanging up in the pole once again, the defending champion and winner of this race. Gale, though, always he's kind of giving him a bit of a run or two off these tracks. You have to keep your eye out for guys like Michael Davis as well in that 5. He was pretty fast last time out. Managing to hang with the tough of this field. Brad Patton also pretty good qualifying position for him and his crew. The NPR boys, well, no surprise there. They're hanging around there somewhere in the back. They'll be ones to watch out for, and even the Marauder, James Harris, he's always been bad fast when he comes to these road courses. We'll see if his long-term strategy does play out. For guys like the Wild Child, Eli Childs, though, obviously this one will mean a lot more than just any other race, and we'll be talking with him just about that. But just to give you guys a good insight of why that is, on the front of that hood you see there is actually a little tribute to his fallen family members in loving memory of Hannah and Cash, our fallen friends that unfortunately were lost due to a drunk driver circumstance and situation back in 2019. Tonight he presents his Champion Power Equipment number 9 machine in memory and honor of them, as well as a representation for the Mothers Against Drunk Driving cause here tonight. So again, this be very well aware this is definitely a big race for him as well as his crew, as we're getting ready to lead him down for the restart here. It's time to get to the action here, Dustin.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to be getting ready to get him through here. We're going to do a little bit of left-hand turns. We're going to do a little bit of right-hand turns. We're going to just have a little bit of everything here tonight, as these guys are going to get all tucked up behind the pace car. They're going to come right through here to turn 7 here at the moment. Get ready for the start.
The Porsche 911 will bring these drivers across the plains, across the stripes. Through turn 10 they go, and it's time to let them rip, let them sit. Think about this one just a little bit. It's time to go racing down at the Glen. Here we go. The action starts now.
Green flag in the air. Here we go. And we're going to go right down into the first heavy braking zone down into turn 1. Craig Jazanik's going to hold that lead as they go into turn 1.
He holds the lead out of the gate here. He'll swing it up way high on the outside line. Got to build it back up the run. Here comes the bounty hunter, Sean Bounty. And if there's one guy I'm going to keep my eye on as well, it's definitely going to be that 19, because Sean Bounty is a master of the Fast and Fun Riley Challenge Series that he's performed with, and these road courses are no different to him. He may be the guy you've got to watch out for all day long. But nevertheless, here as we continue to march the way through the field, the 5 of Michael Davis now on the right side, battling it out here with the number 44, Matthew Johnson, trying to hold him down, trying to keep him on play and out of track, while drivers just continue to maneuver their way through the bus stops.
Yeah, it looked like Michael Johnson was a victim of missing the chicane there going through there. He had to do a little bit of a stop there and let some of the drivers on by. Accidentally cut the course there a little bit. That's going to cost him a few positions there.
That will indeed here, and that's going to be a big problem here. A lot of these guys are going to be facing throughout this event is just trying to stay away from cutting corners, cutting grass ties. They don't want to be doing any of that here tonight for a multitude of reasons, but obviously at the moment, currently, they start to stretch out just a slight bit here, starting to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. The Zanny fam Craig Jantic pretty much in his own place, in his own spot right now. K.O. Gale going to put up a fight here to Sean Bounty, as I'm just now seeing as well. A lot of these guys are rocking the Hannah and Cash borders on those cars here tonight. That is definitely a very big tribute, I would say, from everyone here to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty cool that to see the other drivers get involved with that, having them on the cars. It's a very fitting tribute here tonight. I also notice we're in the next gen cars here. We're not in the usual Gen 6s like we normally are on the road courses. They like to run these next gen cars out, get a nice little feel out. So a little nice looking cars out here tonight that we can see.
Yeah, they are indeed, my friend, man. It's kind of interesting to see with next gen Cup cars back out here. Obviously, this is the one thing about the road course series they will be doing with all season long, is they will be throwing these guys out on the track with the Gen 7s, or the next gens, if you will, whereas the Gen 6s are only on the ovals and the other tracks. So road courses, they get to have these these really tight corner, tight tracks machines, and honestly, I think it really adds a different layer of element to these races, because it gives everyone a bit of a chance to really figure out how to get faster, get better. As a little bit of trouble down there for Grant Enfinger in 98, and the Ford James and Marauder Harris, both drivers colliding down through the corner there at turn number 10, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit of a scuffle going on there. The two got together a little bit, got the guardrail a little bit. Both cars able to continue, but definitely going to lose a lot of spots. And that's one thing you can't afford to do here at this track. Unlike other tracks, you can try to make up your spots. Here, it's very difficult because you have such the big long road course here and you lose positions, it's hard to get them back because it's so hard to pass.
I was about to say, really, the one thing we've always kind of talked about here on PTM TV is just kind of the idea of the road course challenge. Road course challenges being that this is obviously not the usual oval. It's not the usual circumstances of a racetrack you're going to run on time and time again. This is more of a timing-based track. This is more of a circumstances kind of run track. You really have to find momentum when you can get it and find areas when you can, and hopefully stay out of trouble in certain areas and certain parts, because right now driver is getting wrecked out already, because even Nathan Meyer getting a piece of it. The number 24 last night coming off with a W there in the number 1 truck, but not the same can be said, unfortunately, for him and his crew right now. He has got a long way to go to get back into this fight.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of trouble down that straightaway there. Him and another vehicle there got together. It might have been the 53 machine, I believe. Got together there a little bit. He got the worst end of that deal. Got the whole front end and the whole side of that car busted up.
Yeah, he definitely did indeed there. But right now, currently, there's just so much action kind of moving around the track, kind of trying to figure out where we can see everything going down at. And I can tell you right now, the biggest field positions I've seen moving around is currently the guys up in the top 10. Kyle Holden, Cale Gale, Brad Patton, Christian Wilcox, and even Sean Bounty and them really fighting it out, while Eli Childs, Fortenshell, and Michael Davis kind of holding up the rear of the top 10. But seems like really there's kind of that pack going, and then you have just Danzig. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, Janzik's right now pretty much showing the way here. He's got about, it looks like about a 4-second lead on the field at this moment. But yeah, there's just him, and then there's just everybody else at this point.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to see maybe if we're going to see a little bit more maneuvering from some of these guys, and a little bit more cornering off, as some drivers continue to still struggle to get used to the tight corner nature of these cars and how they handle. Remember, these are not the usual turning style that those old the normal stock cars you see. These are more kind of the best way I can explain them. They're kind of a mix of a cross hybrid. They're designed as if they're one of our stock cars, but they have the steering and control of a Riley Challenge car. That's the best way I can really talk about it.
They kind of got that kind of rally car feel too, especially now you see like the lug nuts on these cars. They look a little bit more. I guess the rear looks a little bit more shaped like a rally car, and then of course also with these cars they're sequential gears, so they got 5 gears instead of the normal 4. So yeah, it seems like these cars are kind of built toward that kind of rally way, the way they're shaped and everything.
For sure there. So while we go ahead and focus in on the Wild Child, Eli Childs here, it's time to bring in our special guest here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard about her and seen her on our comment section. We always love to bring her in, but tonight is the first time we get to talk with her. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the first time on PTM Racing TV. This is Jess Ruggerberg. Jess, how are you doing tonight, sweetie? I don't think we can hear you over there, Jess.
Eli hooked me up here, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Here, try. I think we hear you a little bit better now. Can you maybe, if you get the mic just a little closer, I think we got you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think we got you. We'll go with that.
Okay. All right, I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Oh, there we go, Jess. We're doing pretty good. We just thought it was a good time to bring you on in here tonight and just really kind of make this kind of a showmanship race for you and your family. Obviously, we know that this is definitely one of the toughest times we know you have got to go through and all that, but with what you have done with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and kind of help, remind folks out there, really give it, a spotlight for your family and everything to help other people, get through these circumstances and these times, so we never have in our circumstance with the issues that has been kind of plagued on people in the world. But I just probably bring you in here tonight and see, maybe how much has this changed and how much it has been to work with Eli and all the crew here tonight with these Champion Power Equipment guys.
Yeah, it's definitely been quite a rough day. As some of you do know, tonight or today does mark the 2-year anniversary that I did lose my 20-year-old daughter Hannah, who was 20 years pregnant to a drunk driver. Her baby Cashton also did not survive. Since then, I have became a member of MAD for the past 2 years, also known as Mothers Against Drunk Driving, as you said. We're a victim impact panel that goes around to the small groups in the community and surrounding areas, mainly just talking to juveniles who have gotten into trouble for drinking and driving. We basically just tell our story and let others know how it's impacted us. You know, you can always call a taxi, call an Uber, or just even call a good friend to come and pick you up instead of driving and drinking and, you know, having a greater chance of killing someone on the road. I'd just like to especially thank my fiance Eli for putting everything together, the idea for the banner on the cars. It's super appreciated. He's been a huge support for our family for the past 7 months that we've been together. I just also like to thank Champion Power Equipment and Kevin Kirscher for sponsoring the race tonight in memory of Hannah and Cash. And then also thanks to James for the awesome job on the paint job. It means just so much to us, and it's greatly appreciated.
It certainly is. Obviously, we get those banners around here, and that was one thing that me and Dustin really noticed right out of the gate was just how tight in community the fan base is here. Obviously, and the drivers are to help out for you and your family and the crew. Obviously, and this obviously is a very hard day to really accept and really kind of remember. But the fact you've been able to stay strong and really keep up for not only your daughter and the baby, but you've been able to really show what it takes as a mother to help kind of keep that heart, keep that soul in this life and in this time, especially how tight into the community is. It's good to see them get back at it and do all that for you as well. So, Jess, I really don't know how y'all can do it, but it really is an honor and pleasure to have you on board as well, and just to be able to talk with us here about your story and really make sure that we never forget Hannah and Cash.
Thank you so much, Krish. I appreciate it so much what you guys have done tonight. Just thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, I think if you are ready to go, we'll let you go ahead and stand by your husband or fiance and make sure you can stay a little under control, and we'll see what happens to the end of the night.
All right. Thanks so much again.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a shout out and a thank you to Jess Ruckerberg for coming on board here tonight. Show her some love in the comment section, my friends and family and people. Show her some loves. Say hashtag remember Hannah and Cash. Sparky, just hearing her voice and hearing her, talk about that situation and that circumstance, you can just tell as a mother, as a family member, as a mother, man, that is the hardest thing to have to survive and deal with on a constant basis. Thinking about that and not even realizing what truly it was like until it came.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been the 2-year anniversary, but still, it just seems like it was just yesterday, and it's still hard to get over something like that. They say time heals all wounds, but it's tough, especially in that situation with having such a young person like that and having an unborn child too, and that you never know what could have happened there, or the future could have been there. But yeah, I can understand everything she's going through with that.
Yeah, it really is hard. I know we're gonna call a race here in a little bit here, guys. Because I know there's some action going on the track, but it still is, one of those things. As a driver, you never. The last thing I ever want to think about is something about family happening or anything going down like that. And badly, we've all lost. We all, we loved everything, for what we've been through and go through on a timely basis. But there is one thing we will say to this day. I have no problem, and I don't think you can say this either, that we have no problem literally just putting down the reins for a minute, let these guys go race, and we'll call it when it gets to that. But we have no trouble just taking a step back for a minute and remembering that we still are human beings and we have something grateful in our lives that we may have ended up lost. We'll never forget.
Absolutely, yeah. And these guys, like I said earlier, these guys are, competing for championship. They're competing for points, competing every week. But, sometimes you do have to take a step back and, get back to your humanity for a little bit. Nice that these guys were able to, like I said, come out here with these nice banners out here tonight, support out here tonight. Good to have a nice tight-knit family like these guys out here.
Absolutely, man. Again, I've said it once, I've said it again. It is a lot of work to be able to do this and to be able to, really come up with the strength to race. And I still don't know how the heck the Wild Child is able to do this and how he's able to even keep up with that as well, much less even trying to drive on the track. And he is still in the top 10, by the way. He's doing a great job holding his own and keeping his name ahead. But, I mean, if I'm one of these drivers out here too, my first thought is like, you know, I'm trying to still get a win in. I'm still trying to survive out with these harsh terrains, but I mean, I think it just means a little bit more if you're able to, you know, just prove and show to, you know, the friends and family, your guys you're really competing with every time out on the track that, you know, we're here for each other. We're here for everything we do.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, yep. And anybody needs anything or anything, you know, one of these guys will be there, got your back, you know, teammate or not. I mean, I mean, you don't even have to be a teammate or anything. You know, these guys are willing to come out and help each other out, and that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Ah, man, I'm trying to bring it back in. We do have, when we get to lap 22, we are going to bring back Eli the Wild Child, so we will talk with him a little later on, but we're going to try to bring back the live energy here, guys, the PTM Racing TV. You know, you guys always love to see. We're going to try and call this one down the middle as we go, but just for the last thing I will say is, Hannah and Cash, we will always remember you, and what happened to you guys will not be forgotten. So.
Absolutely. Well, back to the race at hand.
Yes, we got a race in hand. We actually saw Brock Whitehead going to do a little bit of maneuvering there around Matthew Johnson. Meanwhile, Michael Davis here in the number 5 is starting to move up the chains again here. He's moving up 3 spots. Meanwhile, Tyler Meeks in the 35, which he's in that Motorcraft 35 right now, actually moving up 3 as well. Like, last night there, Sparky, I watched him in the Truck Series, and he was holding his own pretty well at Chicagoland. Actually managed to make his way up into the upper half and about take on some heavy artillery there with some of those guys. And running in these next gen series, they're a completely different handful, though.
Yeah, and it's good to see Tyler Meeks get a good run. Last week he had a good run going as well. Last week when we were running, so it's good to see him try to get some consistency going on here. Currently running in that 9th position. Him and Michael Davis there battling it out with each other, and good to see him get a good run like that.
Certainly is indeed. We'll take it to our blimp cam right now. Just give you guys a little insight here up top. Meeks making the pass now, moving up 4 spots here. Looking to now hunt down the number 10, Brad Patton, right ahead of him. That is the 17, though, you see on your screen. That's Brandon Ball. Ball trying to situate and maybe get something figured out here in these Cup Series races. I believe this is one of the first times I've ever seen him actually try to come out here and perform in the Cup Series. And if I'm not mistaken, I was going to say, I thought I saw Casey's General Store on that one. I think he's actually, I don't know if he's from the Midwest area, but he's definitely driving a Casey's General Store 17 on that one. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's got my Iowa boy respect there.
Absolutely, and that interesting what he just did right there. Currently, he's running back in 23rd. He's currently a lap down. He knows those guys behind him are battling for position and all that, and what he did is he actually just cut the chicane there and just got out of the way. That way, Michael Davis and Mr. Meeks there can continue their battle, and he can try to figure things out there. That was kind of a nice, respectful move that he did there.
Certainly was indeed. Now, I gotta say there, though, as we look at the field here right now, currently seeing what the 77 of Brian Lorenzo kind of battle it out here. He's been, I don't want to say he's kind of a sleeper, if you will, when it comes to what he can do, but he's been kind of sleeping on the job when it comes to really making some top 5, top 10 maneuvering. But tonight, obviously, he's in the top 10 so far. Remember, he is the champion of the Truck Series. Had to move into the Cup now to try to see if he can play his hand and fight it out with these guys. And to me, he hasn't been nearly as fast as he was back in the other series, but that really kind of just goes to show you that it really does make a difference with what kind of series you run and when and where.
Well, and that with Brian, I know I gave him a kind of a name called the covert operative because he kind of just shows up there at the end. And last week he did the same thing again, where he just all of a sudden there he is. He's battling into the top 10, almost into the top 5, and I'll look for that again. He's getting to where he's getting consistently closer to that top 5 area. I think he'll get it figured out here very shortly because he's definitely getting that pattern down pretty well.
He is indeed here. Take a look at the field here as well. Right now, moving back up the spots here. Looks like the Mullen man, Robert Lawrence, there in the 34, trying to put the Blasta Masta up to good use and good to good gear. He's up 12 spots here from 29th. But meanwhile, right up ahead of him is our old friend, the NPR boys, the George Young 48. It looks like Lawrence decided he wanted to open those lawn care service down there and ended up taking some of the grass in the corner of the final exit.
And looks like we're getting some green flag pit stops because it looks like our leader, Craig Jazanik, has hit the pit road here.
He was in pit road a little earlier on, and he had to obviously try to play out a fuel strategy and a tire run here. There is a way to kind of go full length, run full length tires, but I don't know really if maybe they want to try to really push the boundaries that far. I think they really want to try to focus more on control over finesse, and to me, that's really kind of what these guys are really thinking about, in my opinion.
I kind of agree with you there. Control over finesse, yeah, definitely over on that, especially at a place like this where you almost have to hit your marks every turn here, and just one mistake could get you from the lead all the way back to about 20th. So yeah, definitely, I agree with you there.
Right now, though, our new leader is the number 19, Sean Bounty, the Bounty Hunter, and this right now kind of I'm kind of serious to see if he can start to really make a showman of himself, because we know K.O. Gale, if he gets up to him or he can put up a fight, I know he will definitely be trying to test him and challenge up everything he's got. So K.O. was literally second place last time out to the Zanny fan because of a spin out at Sonoma, costing him the chance to knock him out of that ballpark. But here at the moment, the Zanny fam nowhere near where he's at, and kind of interested to see why that is. But you know, the pit strategies definitely could be seeing something more that we're not seeing here. I don't know.
Well, these guys have not, based on what I can see here, most of the guys that are still on the lead lap at least have not made a pit stop just yet. Here, 16 laps in. Now, Jazanik pitted just a couple laps ago, so he's going to be on, fresh tires, a full fuel run right now. Then when the rest of these guys pit, he's probably going to get the lead back at that point. And how far ahead he'll be in the lead will have to remain to be seen, as long as he don't make a mistake.
Well, that's one thing to say, you can get the lead back, but remember what you said earlier on, it's a little bit difficult to pass on a road course, especially when you got a track like this. And right now, Watkins Glen might just prove something to him in a minute, because he's got to find a way around both Brock Whitehead and Matthew Johnson leading down to the front straightaway here.
Yep, absolutely. But he gets it down into the corner there, gets under Mike Johnson. That's one of the good passing zones there into turn one. If you can outbrake somebody going into turn one and able to keep it stable, you can definitely get a good run on them on the inside, and that sets you up for the S's as they go up the hill here.
Now the S's, we do know you can make some passes there, but you'll be a little bit crazy to try to do it when you're going uphill, because again, going uphill is almost a madman's venture, because the problem is when you go into the corner just wrong, you can send your car off to the right just a little bit too much, you can send it off to the left a little too much, and you lose all that momentum and speed. So most drivers try to opt to draft off there and then build up the run coming down that straightaway to then lead into the bus stop. And the bus stop, to me, Dustin, is really the hardest part of this track, because you have to literally corner in, break it, and then literally get speed built up to corner, exit off as fast as you braked into the entry.
Yeah, and that's also hard too, because you have that long straightaway there. You're carrying so much speed, and it's very, very easy to overdrive into that chicane. And I tell you what, I mean, if you carry too much speed or just even miss it a bit, you're either going to go in the grass, you're going to miss the whole chicane completely, you're going to hit one of the rumple strips and end up in the kitty litter over there. So that is a very technical corner, and you're right, that is probably the hardest part of this racetrack.
Did you just call the sandbox the kitty litter?
Yes, I did. I did call it the kitty litter.
Sparky, I know you and I got a little, emotional earlier, but where did you even think to like come up with the cat box when it's not even?
I guess it's an old racing reference. I believe it.
Oh, old racing, right? Wait. I know old racing references. I've never once in my life heard you say anything about that stuff.
Well, I didn't say it before until just now, but
yeah, you're coming out about that one. But we get back to the action here, please.
All right, yeah, let's clean up our kitty litter mess here.
No, don't even start this. Okay, Gale right now and Christian Wilcox have gone into pit road here. Well, we saw just a minute ago, Sean Bounty actually headed into pit road as well. So He's got a bit of a fresh set of tires and a bit more gas than Janzik, and Janzik, despite the fact that he's only about a second and a half ahead of Bounty, Bounty is starting to catch him a little bit, so those extra amount of laps, so that could be the big difference between Bounty and Janzik. So Janzik better be careful here, because if he comes down the wire again, we saw last night, he literally ran out of fuel on the front straightaway just to even keep ahead with his teammate Nathan Meyer. Meyer would end up walking away with the W for the first time in a long time, but Janzik would come up a close second. But, you know, again, this is a whole different ball game for him, because this is his home track and this is his home field turf. He's won here multiple times, and this is pretty much his sanctuary. But right now, he's being held down by the man in the number 12, which Tracy Holden always knows too well. It's Kyle Holden.
Yeah, Kyle Holden, he has not hit the pit lane yet, so he's just currently just out here getting a little bit lead, kind of a different strategy. We are at the halfway point, so maybe that was his strategy, to maybe make it till halfway before he makes that pit stop. So we'll see if he comes down this lap or not.
He's down that lap right now, my friend. He went in, so you were exactly right. Halfway strategy put into perspective, but Janzik and Bounty are starting to close the gap.
Now I am wondering now with Mr. Janzik's strategy now, with him getting that early pit stop, if later on his car will start losing handle, the tires will go away, and these other guys may end up catching him later in the run. We'll have to wait to see.
One thing I really love watching, though, how these cars are handling, how this is kind of translated over. We saw you obviously, Sparky, you were driving the Gen 6 Cup cars here at Watkins Glen come Sunday night. How difficult was it for you to kind of get onto that car, but yet you came into these next gens and it was just a completely different animal, wasn't it?
Definitely a different animal. Them Gen 6 cars, they felt like me like they were on ice. To me,
That's the best way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, it was a struggle, especially even going up through the S's. S's definitely, if you got up to the top of the hill and just got in the throttle wrong or anything like that, you could almost literally spin the car out. It was just a handful. The next gen cars, I feel like they got a little bit more weight to them, and I feel like that they're a little bit heavier, so maybe they don't get as. And it seems like these guys are not having that much of a problem with them here. It seems like they're able to keep, themselves on the track, keep themselves pretty stable. So it looks like these cars are a little bit more stable than those Gen 6 cars.
Yeah, I was about to say, it feels like more of their. I've always said it before. I'll say it again. The best kind of cars are the ones that feel less like a aerodynamic system and more like a kind of a bump and run style car. And again, I think that's what NASCAR really has in mind with these new cars coming up, because again, we will not be seeing those Gen 6s anymore in real life. They have ended their season at Phoenix Raceway. These are now what we will see in the real world come this next February, and I'm very excited to see what they do with the LA Clash. But at the same time, it just kind of leaves me kind of guessing and kind of keep my questions going, like, when are these cars, for iRacing wise, when will they get their next big update, their upgrade? Because I know a lot of folks at home, and even those that have even said on the even in the racing boards, are like, these cars are extremely finicky on the steering, and they really just don't have much of a feel. But for this one anyway, it seems like everyone's got a bit of an idea and a good guess on how to run them, Bets.
Yeah, and it's still kind of tough because they have done some next gen testing, but it's kind of constricted because we're still dealing with the pandemic and everything. And of course, next year, they're still going to be restrictive of what they're going to do as far as testing and practice and qualifying and whatnot. So really, my guess would be is pretty much by the time we get the Daytona testing, probably that's when they'll get like the super speedway package added to these cars then, and they can update it then. And I think then it's going to be kind of a race by race thing on what iRacing can do to update the cars as they go along.
Yeah, I think you're really right about that one. And I will say, though, at least for now, for the most part, at least on the road courses and short courses wise and short tracks, it seems to me like they definitely have everything figured out for a little bit, but they still could have a lot more testing done to where they make them just even better. But I will say this, though, these things, you watch them going around the track, they're really good on the road course side of things, because again, they really, to me, have the one distinctive factor, which is tight cornering. They have a much more suitable steering ratio, steering offset, control. Oh, watch out though for Trey Whitehead, the 33, parking it right on the front straightaway. That's not a parking spot, my friend, at Watkins Glen.
Definitely not. Definitely don't want to be parking there.
He didn't want nothing to
What
do with
happened
that
to him
one. He
there.
almost lost it. Well, I know he spun it out going on the front straightaway, but that is not a place you want to park a car at. I will say that much. But he is okay. Stays out of trouble at least. As meanwhile, guys that were up in trouble or trying to get back in trouble, Kyle holding the 12, making a bit of a show of himself tonight here, doing a great job, working his way up to the front, really putting on a number while Tyler Meeks tries to catch up with him.
Tell you what, yeah, this is kind of getting kind of a unique top 10 here that we got going on. We got Greg Janzik, the leader, and Sean Bounty is all over him right now. Them two are right close together compared to earlier. And then we got Cale Gale, the veteran, there in third. Christian Wilcox, haven't talked much about him in the race, but he's having a pretty darn good run up there in fourth.
Yeah, he's rocking the Chick-fil-A, number 53, up to the front right now. Currently still hanging in there with the top 5, and he does have a race win already on PTM Racing TV with the Daytona race on the truck side of things. But you know, trying to knock down a former driver like Cale Gale is easier said than done. As Janzik, he makes the first mistake here ahead of Sean Bounty. Bounty, for the first time, is going to knock down the Zanny fam.
Oh man, I just caught the end of that. He was coming through turn 7 there and completely missed the turn and went out into the grass there, and that allowed Bounty to take over. I gotta wonder now if them tires are starting to give up a little bit on that 40 car.
I think it might be, man. That we talked about earlier. Those laps count and they make a difference. And if there's one driver that knows how to make a difference around here, it certainly is the man we have now brought on board here in the Wild Child, Eli Childs. Childs, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, we could be doing a little bit better, but not too bad, I guess.
For sure, there. As we currently are on board with you here, these you've had some hard corners and some hard times to deal with, but I know obviously we talked with the fiance earlier, Jess, and all you guys' circumstances here. It definitely probably means a lot for you and her to be able to come out here and race and see the support these guys have brought to the table for you and this team.
Oh yeah, we appreciate Kevin and Champion and all these guys running the banner tonight. Really means a lot to the family. These guys didn't have to do it, but they all chose to do it, and really means a lot for us. And wish we were putting on a little better performance here, but we're working our way back to the front slowly. But we had a little spin there into the bus stop, and that kind of put us in a hole, so we're trying to work our way back out of it.
I was about to say earlier on, I was talking about how difficult it is to get through that bus stop and how you have to kind of break it in just enough but still keep some speed in to get through the corners and then have to gas hard off the exit. How difficult though would you say it is with these next gens kind of working off a track like this compared to what it was with the old gens? Because I remember you pulled the old gens out here, you had a battle and a war to deal with when Zanny fam kind of ran off from you at times.
Yeah, these cars have their own little quirks to them, I guess. They're I don't know. They're definitely a different beast to drive. It's kind of, the old gen cars you just manhandled around. These cars, you can't necessarily tiptoe or manhandle them. You just kind of have to finesse them around to be quick, I think.
For sure there, but nevertheless though, as we are starting to approach the final laps of this, I guess I got to ask you real quick, how long do you think this car has before it might not be able to catch that top 10, or you think it'll be able to do it?
Oh, I don't know. We're on pretty old tires here, so we're just trying to maintain a top 15 tonight and, go on to next week, I think, is where we're at right now with things. Unless some people wreck, then, we'll obviously capitalize on it, but it's been a fairly clean race so far, so.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, obviously, Childs, appreciate coming on board here tonight and being helpful support for here tonight for helping out with also the mothers of against drunk drivers and all that and everything you've done for this crew and this team here.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys putting us on tonight as well.
Hey, man, we wouldn't be here for anything else. Appreciate the time here, bud.
Yep, have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eli the Wild Childs. Have a little alert in here. You heard his fiance earlier on talking about the stuff going on there as well and what this race represents to them. We mentioned before, we'll say it again, this one obviously had a lot of stakes on the line here, points it gets and all that, but really I think a lot of these guys were more focused on just trying to exemplify and really showcase their talents. As right now, Dustin, we're running on our final laps. There's only 9 laps remaining, and Sean Bounty hasn't exactly ran away from the Zanny fam, but This, if I'm not mistaken, this could be another Ambrose Keselowski battle if we get to that point. We saw what happened though when we get a little bit too crazy and there maybe a little on the track.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely this battle for lead has gotten interesting. Greg Greg Janzik there for just a moment got almost to the rear bumper of Bounty there. Ooh, that car there got in the way there a little bit. And then he got up to him, and then he's like I said, it's so hard to pass here, and he really tried hard going through the carousel there, and he almost spun it out. He got the car almost sideways, and he lost about a second to him now. So we'll see if he can try to gather back up, cool them tires down a little bit, see if he can get back up there and get back up to Bounty.
For sure there. Now, one quick thing, I'm just going to real quick say to everyone at home, we do apologize that we have not really been doing our usual full coverage on catching the replays and catching the race here. Obviously, a little bit more at stake than what you realize, so we kind of wanted to let that be well known and kind of really just focus in on that. And when the racing battles came, we would focus and talk about it here. And they have put forward some great battles and some great racing, but all around, this has been just kind of a sweet race, if you ask me. It's not too long, not too short. It's just kind of that sweet spot. And with this battle up for the lead, this could be really the cherry on top that really just shows what they were up to here.
Absolutely, and for the most part, there hasn't really been too many incidents out here to even really much look at here. These guys have been relatively clean out there, and you know this battle for the lead is shaping up to be one as Mr. Janzik here in the 40 has caught back up to Downey.
He has indeed here, and right now this is looking like this will be our battle to talk about. Bounty trying to hang on, trying to knock down Janzik. Janzik is not giving him any chances though.
No, he's not. He's not left. Janzik is definitely quicker than him. It's just when he makes that pass and when he can make that maneuver to get around the 19. 19's just got to focus up front, try not to mirror drive too much, just try to focus on the racetrack.
Speaking of that as well, just kind of focusing a little bit back to while those guys go at it, we forgot all about some other guys going at it. And the number 3 of Randall Fox. I'm kind of surprised we haven't even mentioned him all day. The Champion Power Cup number 3. He's been pretty much a mainstay and a heavy favorite all day long from how he's raced and how he's been. He started two spots up, which was third, and fell back into fifth, but he never really has fallen off the deep end. He's been pretty much consistent this entire season, barring that little minor mishap at Nashville Super Speedway where he forgot that the fuel line tanks were at a certain level and couldn't quite keep it going there.
Yeah, after dominating that race, yeah, but he came back with vengeance later on when he won later on in the season here. So he did get kind of some redemption in that. Kind of just been floating around that top 5 all night long. He started up in third. He's kind of lingered around about the 5th, 6th spot today. So he's just kind of grinding it out here, just trying to get the best finish that he can.
For sure there. Now, Sparky, real quick, I just want to kind of pinpoint something out here. We've been talking all about Janzik, and we talked about a little bit about Bounty as well. But one guy we keep forgetting as well, and let's just take a look at the lap times here. If we're showing you here at the moment, Janzik has been ahead of Cale Gale for all of lap 24, but the 25th lap, you can see a little shift in the seismic wave here, if you will. The speeds are starting to favor more towards Gale, and if possible, he may be able to catch him with these final laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you mentioned that, yeah, looking at the last lap time there, definitely Gale almost a full entire second up on the 40 car. So if he can continue that, we still got 5 laps to go, and he's about 5 seconds back, 4 seconds back. Yeah, he could definitely get there.
He's got time, but he's going to have a lot of work to do to get there in this case, so we'll see if that's going to happen or if that plays out. Field continuing to strengthen up and really play in their favor.
Yeah, and this battle for the lead is just not going away right now. I mean, these two are just locked bumper to bumper right now as they're going through the chicane here at the moment here, and they're going to head down to what they call here the little carousel corner here, this long sweeping right-hand corner here. Just so patiently try to get through this corner here. And then they're going to head down into turn 7 here in just a moment.
What a wild night it has been, and what a crazy bit of racing it has come to. We're going to be down to our final 5 laps here on this next go-around here on the front straightaway. Sean Bounty and Janzik are putting on a clinic. with just literally the jaw-dropping corners and keeping this real close and tight. Janzik now thinks he's got an opening, and turn 1 is an equalizer. This could be what he needs here. He'll get a run coming down that straightaway. Can he go for the kill switch right here?
He tries it, but Bounty's not giving him the door to open right now. I tell you what, if this comes down to it, I would not be surprised if there was a little bit of a bumper on the last lap here.
We've seen it before where they can definitely put the bumper to him, but I don't know if they want to get too aggressive on that end. They still have to make sure they can keep these cars in one piece. They still got some road courses to race this season, which, by the way, just real quick as well, I forgot to mention earlier on, thank you again to Jeffrey Lee Bell and Tracy Holden, and of course Kevin Kasher and Jess Ruggerberg for coming on board. Thank you again, guys, and thank you to those that are saying the hashtag remember Hannah and Cash or Cashton. And definitely appreciate you all tuning in and really seeing you guys, man. It's been an honor and pleasure to have this call for you guys. But right now, the Zany Fam and Bounty really are our main show, and they're our main track here. We're going to watch here because this could be an absolute fight to the end between these two.
Laps are winding down, time is running out, and here's where Janzik seems to be getting a good run, is off this final corner. He's going to try, but nope, he slipped a little bit there. Couldn't quite get underneath of him coming off.
You know, if he's going to make a move, I feel like he's going to have to try to do it coming on through the final 3 sets of turns. Past the carousel, he'll have to then try to find a way to push him a little bit. Not to the point where he sent him into the, as you call it, the kiddie box, but really the sandbox, or into the grassy plains to open his own lawn care service. I think really he's going to be looking more towards that final entry and really pushing everything he's got to that right-hand corner panel of the 19, because I think if you're going to catch him, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely. And it just seems like to me that the 40 car of Janzik seems like he gets really good after he comes through the carousel and comes down through those final 2 turns. That seems like where he's all over the 19. He just has not been able to either make him make a mistake or get that move to get beside of him at all. But he's definitely got something figured out over there.
Sir, there, man. This is getting more and more intense. There is so much on the line, so much at stake. Who is going to be able to push this one to its limits? Look out, here comes Janzik. That's the shot. That's what I was talking about there, Justin.
Absolutely, yep. That's exactly what he needed. Now he's going to sit side by side as they come down the front straightaway here. They're going to go side by side. Janzik should have the advantage going down into turn 1.
Well, we've seen crazier things happen here. 3 laps remain. Bounty's going to have to open up a serious amount of speed to hold him off. He does not. Bounty has now become the hunted. Janzik taking full advantage and maybe catching a big break when he needed to most. He finally finds a way around Sean and now takes the lead.
Absolutely. He finally made the move that he needed to make right there. And I think at this point now, unless he really makes a big mistake, Bounty's not going away quietly here.
Bounty's been pretty good there on the... Oh! Janzik spins it on the bus stop!
Oh!
He loses it on the bus stop. Bounty has to go through the grass. That's a penalty on his end as well as Janzik. Both drivers are going to be penalized for a few seconds. They're going to have to wait for the officials to call him good so he can refire. They say he's good. He can go back and fire him up. But Cale Gale now just caught the biggest break of the night, but he's got damage on that front end. How bad is that going to affect him coming up to the end? Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness, how things changed all of a sudden in just one turn. Oh, my goodness. Wow, I can't believe what I just saw.
I don't even know how you even call that. That is ridiculous. You would not have thought that would even have played out or even end up in the back of either of these guys' minds. But nevertheless, it has happened. It has transpired. The green flag high in the air. Bounty might have just sealed the deal and caught the biggest break of his career. And Janzik literally is probably trying to hold back from literally ripping that steering wheel off from that next-gen car right now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, now, while Bounty has the lead, he's got a little bit of damage, but now he's got to worry about the fella behind him now, as Cale Gale is now in second, and he's only about a second back, so now he's got to worry about him.
You got to worry about him, trying to hold him back. Meanwhile, guys up front, Christian Wilcox, the 53, he could literally be spoiler and take Janzik out of the podium spot. What a shocker this has been at Watkins Glen. The hometown boy, the favorite, going into tonight has literally been outthrown and distracted because of the bus stop. We talked about it earlier. The bus stop is the equalizer. It got him this time. And Gale and Bounty, unless they make a mistake, they're going to fight it out to the very end. The white flag comes out this time by on the front straightaway. And look out for Lawrence. He's on the front. He's already crashed it in. He's trying to avoid everybody.
Well, good job of keeping their poise there. White flag in the air. This is going to be the final lap. Bounty's just going to have to be absolutely perfect on this last lap to make sure Gale doesn't catch him, but Gale is really coming in strong.
Who is going to win this one out? Who can survive? Bounty needs to not make the same mistake Janzik did on the bus stop. He knows where that spot is. He's got to avoid it.
He definitely does, and now we're getting down to that bus stop area. Here they come down the long straightaway. We're going to get to that bus stop. Heavy braking here. Here he comes on through there. Bounty makes it through pretty clean there. Gale's going to catch a little bit of him here as they go into the carousel.
May have slowed down just a little bit to make sure the car takes a set, get himself some breathing room. Gale, now look at him swing it straight hard through the carousel. He's going to be right on his corner panel into the final turns.
Here they come down to the next turn here, turn number 7. Can Gale get down to the inside? He will not. He'll have to try to follow him through. He's going to have to try to cross over him in the next corner.
Into the final corners. Gale's looking for an opening on the final spot. Bumper maybe coming. No, it does not. Trying to get the speed off of the run. They'll have a drag race down to the end. But it's Sean Bounty who will win at Watkins Glen.
Oh, right. Man, what a finish.
Wow. Unbelievable. Sean Bounty may have just shown he can be a road course veteran and a half, and may have just shown up some of the veterans here tonight. And Janzik, well, I'm going to say this right now. He's already left the building. He is fuming, I have got to think right now.
Oh, boy. What a crazy last couple laps that was. It went from a battle between Janzik and Bounty at the end, and then Janzik slips up, Bounty gets through, and then Gale makes one last effort there to get around him. And, boy, what a finish. What a show.
We're at a race, and you see the NPR guys coming over to say congratulations to their teammate, his boy there. Bounty literally had to catch all the breaks and then some, but he had the speed. Make no bones about that, folks. He had everything here tonight, and something tells me I could just feel a little bit of a spirit or two coming around this track to really put on a show for everyone at home. This was an incredible race here, to say the least.
Absolutely. What a good job by all these guys out here tonight. What a show, and what a win for Bounty. Wow. Woo.
What a win. Race Jams. Let's go and take a look at our race results now, presented in part by Champion Power Equipment here tonight. This right here may have been the craziest race we've seen at Watkins Glen in quite some time for a multitude of reasons, but you know, it started off pretty good and then it just got even better from there. But Bounty was your race winner. He collects the bounty for himself. Gale comes up second, third to the Danny Fan Craig Janzik, fourth to Christian Wilcox 53. How about Randall Fox? Top 5 once again, sixth to Kyle Holden. Pulls off an incredible race here. 35 of Tyler Meeks comes up 7th. 8th to Michael Davis. 9th going to Pritchard Fornshell. And didn't really talk about him that much, but he was certainly hanging in there. And Brad Patton coming away in 10th with the 10. I'll let you call the other 20 while I get ready to call upon our drivers here, Sparky.
All right, the rest of our top 20 is going to be Brock Whitehead with a good finish there in 11th. Eli the Wild Child, he brings it home in 12th tonight. Good run for him. Trey Whitehead will bring it home in 13th. Georgie Young for the NPR boys in 14th. Jason Taylor in number 15 car will finish 15th. Imagine that. John Thacker brings it home in 16th. William Mann Jr. in 17th. Brian Lorenzo will end up in the 18th spot. 19th is the mullet man, Robert Lawrence. James Harris will round us out here in the top 20 and 20th.
You see the other top finishers here are 38 drivers that came on tonight. Obviously in support and to showmanship as well, to try to see if maybe they can pull off something here to remember. Well, I think they've done that and then some. What an absolute wild race and finish here, to say the least, and it was all presented in part by our good friends and help for the support of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. As it says there, there will be no more victims under their watch. We do want, and they will do everything they can to help. Guys, be sure to go and support them on their social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to keep up to date with all their latest lines to help them out and help raise awareness for against drunk driving. Also, to our great friends over at Champion Power Equipment, if you guys need the right tools for the right job, the best power generation and all that around come from Champion Power Equipment. There is no brand name you can trust better than them, so visit them up on their website at championpowerequipment.com, as well as their social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now, presented in part by Champion Power Equipment here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring in our top 3 drivers here tonight. Let's start with, well, I would say probably maybe the most shocking finisher of the bunch, and that is the Zanny fan, Craig Jancic. And Craig, it was a great night of racing to say the least, but I think right now you're probably a little bit curious to know why that bus stop got you of all things.
Yeah, we'll touch quick on it. I mean, you can't expect to win a race and make 3 pretty heavy mistakes. So, kudos to Bounty. He really didn't make any mistakes, and he deserved the win for sure. And thank you to the Free Beer and Hot Wings show for being on the car. But what I really want to focus on here is the banner that we were all running here tonight for supporting Hannah and Cash. Eli's fiance's daughter and granddaughter lost, to just a horrific act of negligence and stupidity. Just 2 years ago today. So, really so happy to be able to represent them on all of most of our cars here tonight. My whole team, I was adamant pretty much that we all run it, and I'm glad that they were able to take part in it. So, we'll move on here. I'm devastated with third place. These are gimmies for me, and you can't make 3 mistakes and expect to come out on top. So that is what it is, man.
For sure there, but nevertheless, man, I know obviously a lot at stake and a lot going on the track, but you certainly still put up a great show, put up a great fight to the end, and at the end of the day, I think that's really something you can always look back on. So with the top 3 finish, I got to ask you, is there anybody you want to thank here tonight for this?
Yeah, super thankful to have the Free Beer and Hot Wings morning show on my car for quite a few races in this season. Listen to them at freebeerandhotwings.com, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Thank you to Champion Power Equipment as well, best generators in the business, and it's a super high honor for me to be able to carry their truck with me on truck weeks, and to have them be our primary sponsor for this league is amazing. And thanks to the guys at Ovalson Performance for keeping my head in it after I made the first 2 mistakes, and then honestly, I had a meltdown after the third. I was not very happy with myself, but third place is what it is. Nothing to sneeze at. We'll continue to try to keep ourselves in that top 4 in championship points, and we should be able to comfortably do that with the P3 here. So, yeah, man, on to Gen 6, back to Gen 6. Thank God. Not a fan of these cars yet, and once iRacing gets them right and they have enough sim data from testing, it'll be a lot better. But that's must be.
Give it time, Janzik. All do well and sooner left, my friend. But nevertheless, appreciate coming on board here tonight. Congratulations for you and your crew and the Olson Performance crew.
Thanks, brother. We'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here tonight, the Zanny fan, Craig Janzik. We'll now bring it down here and talk with Cale Gale from Blackstone Management Racing. Driver really, we didn't keep our eye on too much, but he made sure we kept an eye on him to the finish. Cale, congratulations on a second place finish here, man. You put up a fight and quite a handful there to Bounty coming to that line. Looked like it could have gone either way on that final corner.
Yeah. That was a fun race. I figured Craig would be the car to beat coming in tonight, but man, the 19 car, Sean, he drove a fantastic race. My teammate Randall had better pace than me. I feel like we were probably the 53 car had good pace as well. Just played it smart. Road course racing for me is I'm an okay road course racer, not really my. I'm working on it and getting better at it on the sim, and I enjoy it. And tonight was a lot of fun.
It certainly was fun to call and see everything kind of play out for you and the crew. Obviously, there was a lot at stake here and a lot really playing out with some drivers and fans there obviously coming to tune in for that. But you certainly did prove another race here tonight that you can pull off on any of the tracks here. So I got to ask you, as you're walking away second place here tonight, is there anybody you want to thank here tonight for this finish?
I just want to congratulate the 19 car for winning the race. Like I said, he drove a great race, and congratulations to him. Um, Everyone at Blackstone Racing, Reaper Speed Labs, Champion Power Equipment, Blaster, everybody that puts this on, you guys putting on the broadcast. I want to thank my better half, Courtney. We got a baby that's going to be due here in within the month. So she's pregnant with our with baby Caden is going to be a little boy, and one of my coworkers, Joseph Webster, watched the race tonight. He tuned into the broadcast and watched the whole race, so that was pretty cool. And yep, just my son likes to watch the YouTube. His name's Camber, and he likes to watch some of the broadcasts when I'm after my races are over. So yep, just thank everybody, and this is my night to have fun. And all in all, second place finish, we'll take it.
Well, we certainly hope that he enjoys it as much as you enjoyed racing out here tonight, Kale. But nevertheless, appreciate you coming on board here tonight, and a great finish here once again for the Blackstone Management Racing Team.
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kale Gale there, your number 83 driver, and from Blackstone Management. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring in the man of the hour and the man tonight. Well, I guess you could say with all the power. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on to our show for the first time ever in Victory Lane. It is Mr. Sean Bounty, the number 19, and Sean, the bounty hunter, taking it home. And man, I don't know how on earth you hanged on to this one and took down some of the top tier in road courses.
Uh, I'd say least mistakes, but I had my fair share. um, Holy crap, that was a hell of a race. Craig just hauled it on the beginning of the race, and I stuck with my strategy. Not wear out my stuff, just ride at a certain pace. It was a little looser on the first two laps than it had been, and I was expecting it to be. Came in, got my two tires on my left side. That's all I wanted to save some time. And then a few laps after my pit stop, I see Craig. I know he had some issues with some lap traffic prior, but I don't know what happened to his speed. I have no idea if he got into anybody or whatnot, but he seemed to have fallen off the pace and kind of level out with where I was running. And at that point, I knew I could run him down. Really late in the race, he had kind of come back to me, and we had really evened it out. And I had a much better shot through the S's. I felt like I could just nail the throttle all the way up the S's and gain some time. And I kept losing it back on the braking points. He just had a lot more stable braking, and I could see it for several laps. Um, he was setting me up on the last two turns coming to the straightaway, and I just knew that move was coming eventually. And there wasn't two to go, so I had to just let him take it, and just kind of hope for another shot there. And lo and behold, I think what happened on the bus stop, I think he just ricocheted his right side tires off that curb and had too much momentum. And when he tried turning left, it just shot around on him. Uh, I tried to almost get it to a complete stop, but yeah, there was nothing for it. And I was just hoping I picked the right direction to keep going somehow. And I figured if I stayed to the right side, his car was turning in that way. But after I hit him, I just lost all traction to my front tires. And that's when I started looking in my mirror again and seeing Kale coming. And he gained a second on me in one lap, and he was only a second half behind. So I knew I had to do something. Um, and I didn't want to do anything drastic. So on that last corner, I just dropped it one extra gear and hugged the inside apron and make him try to go around me on the outside, or at least just hit my rear end coming to the final corner just to slow him up. And but it was a hell of a race. A great race. A few things just ended up turning out my way and just hung on to it. So that was awesome.
It was awesome to watch, and it certainly was a wild one to call. But nevertheless, Sean Bounty, is there anybody else you want to thank here tonight for this finish?
Yeah, we got Mid Pack Racing a win. That's awesome. They brought me over here the other week, and we're just figuring out all the paperwork there. It's cool running with those guys. We got as you know, we've got the Hannah and Cash on a lot of these cars, and I got one on one side of the car and one on the other, and it's just it's cool to be able to support the people you're racing with and the community, and it's just nice having them on board and letting them fly with us.
Absolutely, and they were flying high with you, I believe, all the way to victory lane for your first ever Cup Series win. Sean, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
What a night, what a race. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is going to get wrapped up, and we're calling this one good. Whew, Sparky, I'm kind of lost. I'm really not even sure how to really call this one or really end this night. It was wild, it was crazy, and, it really kind of brought a few tears to my eyes, knowing, what this family obviously win, what this community obviously represents. It still brings me, a few tears just even thinking we're such a part of a tight knit family. Even though I know on the track we may seem like we hate each other, we deal with each other too many times, and we just want to beat each other out. But at the end of the day, when we get off that track and we are back to being human beings, we are all together in this, and it just never gets old, man. It really doesn't.
Pretty tight fit community, I would say so. I think this race was pretty fitting for itself tonight. We had a little bit of crazy action at the end. Race went pretty smooth. It was about as best as you could get, and a very fitting tribute out here tonight by these drivers. Like I said, very tight fit community, just like family out here. Congratulations to Sean Bounty on the win, and congratulations to all these drivers. And again, what a fitting tribute for a fitting race here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, a big shout out and thank you to Matt and to Champion Power Equipment for having us come on board here tonight, representing this race well. We certainly hope you enjoy it. Tomorrow night, we're going to go down and see RTC, and they'll be back once again at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, so stay tuned for that. Also, Spartan Logistic Management LLC brings out their IROC Challenge. The drivers will have to bring their next gens to the test at Daytona. Which one will win it out for the first race of their season? Find out with us. But from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, and please take care of yourselves, be safe, and be always kind to each other, and remember the limits, and remember yourselves. We're all in this together. We love you. Thank you, and good night.